Hello and welcome to another episode of the ICA Sports and Fitness Science Council ChiroCast podcast. Hope someday we can shorten that name, but not yet. I'm Dr. Brant Hulsebus. I'm a member of the ICA Sports and Fitness Science Council Board, and I am joined today by our chairman of the ICA Sports and Fitness Science Council and our special guest, somebody that Dr. Todd McDougle knows really well, Jackie. So, Dr. Todd, I'm going to introduce you, and I'll let you introduce our guest.
Well, thank you so much, Brant. And like I've said previously, you have done such an awesome job with this podcast, and thank you, thank you, thank you. And without further ado, Jackie Osczevski, our wonderful friend from Canada, who has had multiple competitions and has placed, I believe, second in the Canada's Strongest Woman competition. Somehow or other, she hasn't broken through to get that top spot. What is going on, Jackie?
I actually gave myself rhabdo on event one, so I had
Oh,
to zero event two, but I came back and finished events three, four, and five fully symptomatic and placed second. So, you know,
that's because you are a beast. A lot of people don't know who you are, but I would love for you to go ahead and share just a little bit with everybody your history. In Strongwoman, when you started, and everywhere you've been, and the placings that you've been as well, if you would.
sure. So I started Strongman in 2016 in April. I just got out of university. I played for the Ultimate Frisbee team for the women's team, and I was still in that competitive mindset. I was still really young, still looking to compete somewhere. So I found Strongman, and then the coach that I had hired, he did an assessment with me and stuff, and then he signed me up for his show a month after I started working with him. No, the day that I started working with him, he told me I was doing his competition in a month. So that's how I got started. And since then, I have won Canada's Strongest Woman once, Canadian Nationals twice. I have placed the four-time Canada's Second Strongest Woman. I'm three-time Western Canada Strongest Woman. And my most recent winning is I placed second at the Shaw Classic this year, and then I placed second in the world next to Rebecca Roberts at World's Strongest Woman last year. And that's been my highest placing at Worlds. The year prior, it was seventh, and then 10th, and then 12th. So just keep getting better over the years and making sure I take care of myself through all of that. So, but yeah, I started almost 10 years ago. Um, and yeah, I'm really excited and looking forward to OSG this year. I just got back from Scotland. I was the alternate athlete for the Rogue Invitational. So I've been climbing slowly and steadily, and which is good. Like slowly as you work hard and people come knocking on your door. So
Yep. And I'm
Well,
so tickled to
Jackie,
know you. You're just a wonderful, charming person. And of course, when you're not around, I get to go ahead and share memes back and forth with Aaron a bunch. So,
oh yeah, you guys do lots of that, don't you?
yeah, yeah. We become good buds too.
Good. I'm glad.
so Jackie, how did you meet Dr. Todd McDougle?
How did I beat him?
How did you meet him? How did
Oh,
your
how did I
paths
meet
cross?
him? It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to talk about how I beat him. I feel like
Yes,
that
with a
needs to be
big
reserved for
stick.
off the podcast. Yeah. Well, it's
He
actually the
needs it from
spear
time to
that I
time.
won. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I actually won a spear at my first strongest woman in Canada, so that's actually how I beat him, is with that. But just kidding. I actually met him at OSG in 21, 22, 20. When did we meet, Doc? 22,
You know what? I feel
21?
like
I
I've
don't
known
know.
you forever, so it's all good.
I know. I know. I get along really well with old men, so.
Yeah, with me just turning 60 last week, right? Poke the bear.
Oh, you get a senior's discount now. Look
Oh
at
yeah.
you.
Oh yeah, right?
But yeah, I met him. I met him on his table in, let's say, 22. We sure it was 22. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, he treated me. And for years, I had jumped around for different chiros looking for some relief in my movement patterns. And at the time, I had found one, and she was really good, but then she passed away. So then I was kind of on the hunt ever since then. And then there was a point where I couldn't squat below parallel. There was just my I don't something was jammed. I can't explain it to you, but Todd adjusted my hips and my knees, and all of a sudden I'm hitting depth no problem. And it wasn't like I wasn't going ass to grass. I was, but just the angle of my femur, I wasn't able to hit below parallel. So after I got my adjustment for the first time with him at Worlds, I hit depth no problem. So I've had some amazing experiences with chiropractic over the years, and I look forward to my once and if I'm lucky, twice a year adjustments from Todd, just because, there's not a lot of chiropractors who know how to manipulate bigger bodies who lift houses for fun, as my physio so lovingly puts it.
Mhm.
There's just not that many people. And in Canada, especially, the chiros are really tied by the Chiropractic Association up here. So there's a lot of different practices that they can't do that American chiropractors have the freedom to do. So they're a lot more restricted in their manipulations and techniques. So it's just a different kind of treatment in the States than we receive up in Canada.
I kind of believe your adjustment has a different focus than a typical adjustment does when you're working with strength athletes, correct?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
So, Dr. Taka, can you tell us a little bit what you do differently with the strength athletes than you would a normal patient that comes in your office?
Well, I mean, obviously it's what I call live fire triage based chiropractic applications. So it really is an amalgam of what I've learned over the years, many years utilizing X-ray technology, the interpretation of the neurobiomechanics that I see on those X-rays, and doing comparison analysis with those tools, if you will, and working on trying to develop an application that really won't harm the athlete's performance. So I use what I call a short lever high velocity burst application to go ahead and change the dynamic, but it's more of a closed pack system versus an open pack, where you have with an open pack more of a stretch receptor response. And so the strength athlete requires to have some increased tension so that they go ahead and maximize loads and then also execute a large amount of power or force generation. So in 1910, a fellow by the name of Hoffman, Dr. Hoffman, the founder of what they call the H reflex or Hoffman's reflex, back in 1910, he had postulated that with a stretch, you would go ahead and lose the neuromuscular recruitment of muscle fibers. If you did a ballistic stretch, then you would lose more. And so, years ago, I went ahead and I evaluated this, and I've been working and experimenting, I guess, if you will, like a mad scientist on all of these strength athletes. And now we have, what I call McDougle chiropractic methods. And it really does change the dynamic, as I think Jackie could go ahead and testify.
Jackie, I wanted
Big
to ask
time.
you about that. You've seen other chiropractors and you've gotten adjusted, and you've seen Dr. McDougall's method. And how would you kind of describe the difference going into a competition between the two?
So between the two, the way that I would describe Todd's method versus other chiros that I've been with, it's almost like if my physio and chiro were in the room at the same time. So with my physio, I get a lot of intramuscular dry needling done, so I get IMS. Um, and it's a quick and dirty way to shut down the extreme tone that the muscle is having. So the way that I look at it is if there's too much tone in the muscle, it's going to be pulling a joint out of place, or it's getting stuck, or it's a little too tight and it's not rotating or coming in and out of the socket properly. So when you can shut down the muscle or just tell it to calm down and put the joint back where it needs to go so it can maneuver and rotate in and out however that joint functions, that's going to be the best bang for your buck. So it's almost like the hypertonic muscle is being slapped shut off, and the joint at the same time is being encouraged to move properly. So it's almost like a complete CNS like reset,
Mhm.
where the tonicity is being lowered significantly and I can keep performing.
Now,
You said that before we got into this, you said you would travel different parts of the world and you've seen different competitions in different parts of the world. And would you say that you see a real lack of the chiropractic technique for the strength athletes, and that's something that needs to grow?
I would agree. Yeah, for sure. Like I just came from the Rogue Invitational and they only had a physio team. They didn't have a single chiropractor back there. I've been to the Shaw Classic and there was both athletic therapists, chiros, there's a whole group of people. And it's a little bit different. It's not the same, although it's appreciated big time. I very much appreciate a treatment team behind the scenes that can tune me up, but it's just not the same. So I'd have to go from the chiro table to the athletic therapist table to one more table just to get the muscle to calm down. Or I would start there, go to the AT, and then go see the chiro after. So I have to see multiple people. And I mean, that's why Doc gives such sweaty hugs, is because he's doing the work of three people on one body in 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, if I'm
Yeah, and like I've been to Norway. There's been no treatment team at all. I've been to yeah, it's more effective when you can have a chiro who can kind of do both. Like honestly, I don't expect someone who can do that much just because I think you're crossing the lines of a physio, a massage therapist, and I think that there's a line for each practitioner. Like I'll never let my physio adjust me ever. I don't care if he needs to just move a joint to get what he needs. I don't care. You did not study chiro for 4 years. You studied physical therapy. Just like with my chiro, I don't expect him to be a physical therapist or an RMT. That's not what you went to school for. I prefer when someone stays in their lane and does a really good job with it. But I think what Todd has figured out is because he himself has been in the strength world personally, I feel as though he's figured out how to deal with the muscle tone as well as get the adjustment necessary that he needs. For example, I've seen 2 years ago in 2023, I saw the Spanish fella. He walked into the treatment room and I'm pretty sure he blew a disc or something. He barely was able to walk into the room and Todd was body slamming this man for like 15, 20 minutes and then he was able to skip out of the room. So whatever the heck he did, it kept him the athlete performing more. And if Todd needed to send him to Mike, he would have, but he didn't have to. So Todd was still able to stay in his lane. And there have been times where I've seen Todd say, "No, you go to Mike first and then come back to me." So I've seen it where he understands his role that he plays as a practitioner, but he's just figured something else out that it would be nice if other physios in the strength world would figure out.
yeah, and you know
It
that
sounds like you.
the thing, sorry, Brant. The big thing was to try and see exactly how much a chiropractic adjustment could do. That was always the goal. How much change can I make in the athlete's performance the day of and succeed? And it for me, the like we're going to have the OSG Live Fire World Series. It's to me, it's just a matter of trying to get the young doctors to see. And Brant, I know you do a lot of work with Palmer, but it's one of those things. If I could just get them to see the potential of what a chiropractic adjustment can do, it would blow their minds. Don't you agree, guys?
Yeah, it
Mhm.
sounds like you're really good, Todd, to stay in your lane, but it sounds like you got a really wide lane. Is that a good way to say
Well,
it?
but I'm just doing chiropractic, and what
Mhm.
Jackie's, to her point, oftentimes when I would go to other events that may be larger events, as soon as I set up my table, a lot of the other practitioners are instantly unemployed. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just that the technique works, and that was
Mhm.
the primary directive that I had from Chad Coy all those years ago. And it's so fun to see people excel, like Jackie, and she knows when she's getting the right care. And I know behind the scenes there are things that we've talked about, in regards to what she has received. And so I'm definitely always available for her to complain to, because that's what you have to do, right, Jackie? It's like, well, that was disappointing. What do you think about this, Doc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I've had it too where it's not fun. I don't enjoy being on his get that straight. I don't enjoy being on his table. It doesn't feel good. at all. Especially the one where he goes, I'm gonna get in between the girls here. All right, exhale. Oh, there we go. It's like, oh, pretty sure he punctured both of my lungs.
Yes, but it worked.
But at the same time, it's like the mobility increases. I'm able to actually open up and like either do a better overhead or a better deadlift or whatever. Like it sucks, but so does dry needling and I feel really, really good after. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and
Like the
Jackie,
punishment.
would you share what your background is? Because you sounded awful sciencey and knowledgeable about stuff.
sure. So I am a kinesiologist. I graduated with a major in exercise and sports studies. And I am also a strength and conditioning coach as well. So on top of competing at the top level, I also help people get to that top level if they listen. If they're not going to listen, then whatever, you can't help them.
There's that.
Some like great pre-chiropractic majors before you go to chiropractic college.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie, I want to say thanks for joining us and expressing an athlete's point of view how important it is to work with a chiropractor that is familiar with athletes and working with athletes and the special consideration that comes with that. I always like to give my guests the stage one last time. Is there anything you'd like to add or talk more about that I didn't hit today?
Not that I can think of, to be honest. Todd, did I miss anything?
No, you are perfect like always.
My husband would disagree.
I love the looks. She always gives me the best looks. It's like, no. No, I think
I don't
you're the
hide
big,
anything.
I know you don't, but that's what I love about you. The big thing is if you had an opportunity to go ahead and talk to another chiropractor who's listening, what would you tell them about learning sports specific chiropractic applications?
The biggest thing I can say is if I get an adjustment, I should be able to go and train. There have been so many chiros that are like, okay, like you should probably let that chill for a little bit. Like maybe don't train today. I can't afford to miss a training day at this point. So whatever archaic things are being taught to these chiros or whatever legislation is in place in terms of like the Canadian board, something has to change because I can't stop I can't not go and train. Like I might have a busy weekend. Life happens too, and I'm not just an athlete. I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm all of these other things as well. Like I'm a multifaceted human, and so I have a schedule. So to be told you can't go and train today because you need to let this chill.
Hmm.
Okay, great. Now I have to rearrange my week in order to let my body calm down. And it's not like I'm not getting sleep or I'm not drinking enough water or my nutrition isn't on point where it needs to be. It's, I know I have inflammation. I know things are not proper in my body. I know that, but that's what peak week looks like. And although I feel like trash on peak week, I still have to go and train and I still have to do another RPE 9 session. And then I have two more of those afterwards. And then I have one final event day. So I really can't afford to just not go and train. And with the way that Todd teaches, I am able to go and train again. Now, there are certain things where he says you might want to put some ice on that. But if he's saying that, it's for a specific reason and it's not to let things calm down. It is to let it calm down, but there's a reason why he's saying that. So the amount of times I've heard maybe don't train today, it's well, okay, then I kind of just wasted my money here because I have to.
Hmm.
So if I
Uh,
could give any advice to any Kairos is to figure that shit out because I gotta go train.
well, and I have figured it out. All they got to do is train under me, and we
Hmm.
can figure it out. Brant has been there as well,
Yep.
and he worked last year with us in Madison, Wisconsin. Brant, you want to share
Yep.
anything?
Yeah, and I want to stress that it doesn't. This is not a exclusive to strength athletes. I
Right.
have imposed this on the hockey players. They all have the rotated pelvis. You can tell if they're left or right legged by their way their pelvis is rotated. And again, they can't take a day off. That's what they do. They're
Hmm.
hockey players. They don't work. They don't get paid. It's just like if you told a teacher, you know what, I'm going to adjust your date. I don't want you to teach for a week. It's just not a reality of the world that athletes live in. And learning how to address athletes and work with athletes, regardless of the sport, is very, very important when you work with athletes. And Jackie will say that her main investment right now is her body. And everything she does is for her body, keeping her body going. And that's what she's invested her time, money, and energy into. And you can't take that away from her. Your technique has been a great for my hockey players, my college athletes, my basketball players. They're able to get that adjustment, go out and skate on the ice. Now, difference between us is after the game's over, I might go back to adjusting the way I used to, because they're going to get on the bus and sleep for 12 hours and they drive to the next city. So there's great times to apply it. And Todd, you've heard me tell the story before. I had a retired nurse who's 78 years old, taking care of her husband on hospice. She had a hard time lifting him. My associates were taking care of her. I used your technique on her, not to the same level we would adjust Jackie,
Right.
okay? Turned down the tension a little bit, but she came in the next day crying because she was pain-free and she was able to take care of her husband and enjoy their remaining time together alone without anybody else there. So it's been applied on everybody, small, big, quick, old, young, everybody. So it's always, you can always learn more.
And that's heartwarming. Something that you spend, I've spent almost 30 years designing this, and to hear those stories and to see the results in people, champions like Jackie, but then too, that little lady who just wanted to spend quality time with her husband, and that was made possible. And, good job, Doc.
Jackie, it helps a lot having an athlete like you here. So I really want to say thank you for joining us. It's greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. This is fun.
Dr. Todd, take good care of her. Don't mess her up. Let her win this time. Push her over the edge. Give her the adjustment she needs. I want to come back this time and talk about more championships. Sound good?
I love that
Sounds
plan.
good to me.
Right?
All right.
Let's do it, Jackie.
Yeah, one more plug. I would like to
Please.
stress anyone listening to tell your parents and grandparents to get their necks adjusted so they can shoulder check and not crash into people in traffic.
Hey, Jackie, where can people find you that might want you to help them in training?
So if you're looking for me, you can find me on Instagram at jacked__Jackie. That's where I'm the most active. That's where I post the most. I do have a TikTok, but I usually go on there just to send things to people. So I also have been starting to post tutorials on YouTube, just because for me, I come up with really weird things that is really hard to explain and I can't find a video. So I've been creating tutorial videos and posting them there. And I believe it's just, if you look for Jackie, you'll be able to find me there as well. So those are the two
Excellent.
spots that you can find me.
Thank you.
We'll have Jackie email those to me, and I'll put those in all the comments. So wherever you're watching or listening to this, you can find it and go ahead and follow and learn more about Jackie there.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thanks, team, for joining in. Like always, if you like this podcast, feel free to like and subscribe. We do a new podcast every 2 weeks. We try to bring you the newest in chiropractic, sports, and fitness science. And this is Dr. Brant Hulsebus signing off, and thank you to our guest.